Quick update for the day. So, I needed to be at work today, 10 o'clock. So I woke up around 8, but I experienced drag, which basically means I didn't want to get up. So I went back to sleep, and then I got up again, then went back to sleep. This happened a good 3 or 4 times until around 8:35, which that time got up, I grabbed my phone, and then I sat in my chair. I was mindlessly scrolling through YouTube, trying to find something to entertain myself while I made myself breakfast. Now, earlier, I actually was woken up around 7:30 to move my car out of the way, so that way my mom could go and drive to work. So, after that, I went back to sleep, and then we jumped back to the present. What did I find to entertain myself before making breakfast? If I'm being perfectly honest with you right now, it's not coming to my mind. I wish I could say, but the memory escapes me as I am speaking. Moving on, after now I remember, it was a whatever happened to Star Trek 3 video where a dude was talking about the history, production, and general overall story behind Star Trek. No, it wasn't Star Trek 3, it was Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan. It was pretty cool and interesting, I suppose. For some reason, he had this, deep, gravelly voice that worked out really well for breakfast vibe. Kind of like a 1950s science fiction trailer voice, if that makes any sense. Kind of sparked that Saturday morning cartoon feeling. Well, anyway, after finishing up breakfast, which was 2 eggs on toast and some coffee, I got dressed, and then I left to work. Now, at work, there was quite a few interesting things that happened. The general summation is that it was a solid, quick day. There were some interesting discussions about consciousness with one of my coworkers. One of my coworkers was watching something he should not have been watching, and then telling me to go see it, and then me being blinded by what he saw, and then saying he didn't know how he got on what he was seeing. And what he saw was something that was just terrible. We'll put it at that. I'm not going to name names or put anyone's job at risk. All I'm going to say is that if I really wanted to report the behavior, I could, but because I see us as good friends, I shall refrain from doing so. But it makes for an interesting story to tell while still trying to keep it vague so there's no legal ramifications for anybody. Now, moving on, from what I can remember, it was a very nice day in terms of the weather. Very cozy, very comfortable, very nice. It was a partly cloudy day, practically 70 degrees. Actually, never mind. It was cloudy the whole time, and it was sprinkling the whole time. In fact, I remember the first quote I said when I walked out of my car and was walking with one of my other coworkers about how the sprinkling water from the sky felt like you were getting hit with a million kisses all at once, to which he said he really liked that and he was going to use that quote. This was a separate coworker from another department, meat department. We even shared it with some people who were waiting in line to punch in, and a lot of them seemed to like the quote. I even wrote it down. Now, there is one thing I forgot to do that is something that I really should have done, which is very important, and that's get my water canteen refilled. Sadly, I wasn't able to do this because I was putting more of my energy and focusing on meditating to binaural beats on my phone during my breaks than I was getting water on my break. I'm gonna have to do that when my next break arrives, next workday. I had no sweeps today. It was all just lot for the first hour, front end bagging for the next 3 hours, lunch, which to what I had was 3 egg rolls from the freezer that warmed up in the air fryer at 380 degrees for 12 minutes, and that was very good. I discovered this new technology on YouTube called light computers from a company called Lightway, I believe. I actually forgot the name of the company. Was using optic light beams to distribute data and information in computer chips instead of the traditional technological method of ones and zeros. This is sort of the next best thing beyond quantum computing, because with this new form of computation, information can be packed in much tighter spaces compared to traditional computer chips. It's less resource intensive, and it can be stacked on top of each other and basically transfer information to the terabyte tons. There was a really good YouTube video that I watched with my family friend and my mom about that laid out all the information you need. I don't exactly remember the name of the video right now, but all I can say is that it was very informative. There was one more thing I wanted to mention about the work day. I remember bagging on my second half, and there was a lady who was getting a heart-shaped sushi plate, and she was very sad because she was talking about how it's her Valentine's to herself because no one wants to date her. And then she was saying that, great, now I can watch TV by myself, in such a dismissive and sour tone in the voice. Of course, I would have wanted to say something like, well, it doesn't have to be this way. If you truly want to have a relationship with someone, then you can totally do that. I'm sure there's someone out there who'd be interested in having a relationship with you, but you have to want it. But I didn't want to get into a philosophical relational debate with them. I mean, after all, I've never had a relationship myself, if I'm being honest. I just like being alone, if I'm being frank. But this lady wanted to sing to the high heavens about how sad and lonely she was, and yet, how do you fix a problem? Do you complain and whine about it, or do you actually just address it head on and see what you can do about it practically and fundamentally? Sure, it seems robotic, but that's the only way that a problem solver can solve a problem, I believe. That's just my opinion, though. Speaking of problem solving, I did not work on my video editing or my drawing at all today. Reason for that is just because the day just got sucked into my phone of passive entertainment consumption, and ultimately I lacked any kind of discipline or ability to have self-control in dedicating my energy or attention to learning or developing those skills. It's on me, it's my fault, and I will own that, learn to take those faults and fix them tomorrow, which is luckily a day I have off, so I have all the time I'll need to get done what needs to get done. Well, the time is currently 12:29. I am very tired. I just finished a long 42-minute meditation session. I shall be going to bed. Good night, everybody. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of your time, whatever that time that may be. Goodbye.